This podcast is part of Another Happy Studios,
the home of podcasts with passion.
Hello and welcome once again to Talking Pictures Podcast. I'm your host David and joining me as always my co-host Brian. Brian, how are you today?
I'm good. I went up for a little penguin run today.
You got it for a penguin run?
Penguin run.
What's that?
The run where you run in a straight narrow direction with your arms sort of slanted out like penguin arms.
I would have said that's like a missile direction.
Missile direction?
Yeah, like they were like weapons almost, like heat-seeking missiles.
You know, when he said that in the movie, I was like, I get it. I understand now. I know why it's called the movie like that. I understand why it's called that.
If you're new here, then welcome. If you're a returning listener, then also welcome. We've new episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend. Today we're here to talk about Zach Krieger's Weapons, which is a movie that we've both been anticipating pretty much all year now.
Yes, however, we did start 2025 with this movie slated for a January or February 2026 release.
I do remember it getting moved up, yeah, and you going, wait, what? And like, I broke that news to you, I'm pretty sure. That it had gotten moved
you
up.
pointed it out to me.
But before we talk about weapons, we're going to talk about a trailer of the week. Brian, have you got a trailer of the week for us?
Yeah, just a quick one. You know, the fact that Benny Safdie has his A24 film starring a major actor in Dwayne Johnson, The Smashing Machine. Well, his brother Josh Safdie has his own A24 film with an A-star actor about Marty Supreme.
Yeah, I don't know, is this a real character? Is this a real person?
It's inspired by a real life guy, but it's a loose adaptation. So yeah, Marty Supreme with Timothée Chalamet.
It's interesting when a pairing of directors separate. The fact that we're going to get two very close together, one being The Smashing Machine and this one being Marty Supreme.
Yeah.
It kind of nearly pits them against each other where we go, I wonder, was one of these guys the special sauce? Like, is one of them just way better than the other? I
don't know why. I think it's just because we've seen him as an actor as well, and he's worked with Christopher Nolan. I think Benny Safdie is automatically given the better praise, the higher anticipation. I think he has the more mainstream film in that The Smashing Machine, but I was so curious to see what his brother was going to make, because his brother, it feels like he's the more of the director. I don't know what Marty Supreme is about though.
It's about a ping pong champion, I guess. I don't know.
He goes around wearing a suit like he's a banker or a stockbroker.
But he plays ping pong. Maybe he's a former table tennis playing champion who's now like setting up a business and wanting to like use his fame for marketing purposes and build a business or something like that. Because we do see a little shot of him like pitching to someone about changing the colour of a ball, and he wants to make Marty Supreme balls. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it in terms of the fact that there's a lot of actors in here that I wouldn't have seen before.
Quite a lot. Like
especially the guy from Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
Yeah, like the American version of Dragon's Den.
Can't recall. I've noticed. The only person I know else in this is Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yeah.
You've never seen her before?
She's the only other person who I've seen before.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But everyone else is unknown, yeah.
Yeah. But it's coming out in December.
December. It'll be interesting then. I think it'll be interesting in our year wrap-up, having seen both The Smashing Machine and Marty Supreme, to maybe have a little bit of a conversation on the Safdie brothers.
I think we have The Smashing Machine slated in our podcast schedule. We don't have Marty Supreme.
Not yet.
Well,
you never know.
I don't feel inclined to add it just yet.
Okay.
Like,
we'll see.
Smashing Machine I had added to my honourable mention because I didn't have a release date when we went into this year. And yet, when the trailer came out, it's like, wow, Dwayne Johnson looked like he's actually acting.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see Dwayne Johnson playing someone other than Dwayne Johnson.
Like, we're already talking about Benny Safdie's movie, and we should be talking about the Josh Safdie one. So, like, I think it's an automatic which one we're more anticipating, which one we're more excited, which one looks better. But we're not talking about either.
But it'll be after the fact. But once we've seen both of them, then we'll be able to talk more in depth. But you're right, we're not here today to talk about either of the Safdie brothers movies. We're here today to talk about Weapons.
We almost got another Pedro Pascal movie.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm perfectly okay with Josh Brolin taking the reins on this one, because I quite like Josh Brolin, and I think that we don't see him enough. And but I also want to say I don't have a problem with seeing Pedro Pascal as often as some people like to make out that we're seeing him too often.
People just like to create trends.
People just like to complain.
Yeah.
It's like, God forbid the man work.
I'm not gonna lie, I think even though Josh Brolin took on this role and made it his own so well that I can't imagine anyone else playing this character, but I still think Pedro Pascal is the better actor. I think he's the better performer, and I think he could have brought a little bit more emotion to the role, because essentially this character is supposed to be a hard-ridden, gritty, old-fashioned, not so emotional type of father, you know?
Who's also grieving the loss of his missing son. Yeah.
Like, we kind of see that in Pedro Pascal in quite a few things, primarily in The Last of Us. But Josh Brolin brings that hard-headed, grizzled old man.
Yeah.
And it actually does make me think, fuck, is there another world out there where Josh Brolin was casted as Joel in The Last of Us? Because I think
absolutely,
this is nearly the closest on-screen portrayal of Josh Brolin playing Joel Miller, I think.
I mean, Josh Brolin does come across a bit more gritty or a bit more like harsh. There's a harshness to his tone. I think it's nailed here in his performance of, like, even though he is a grieving father throughout, I'm scared of him in certain scenes. Like, when in the initial scene when they're at the PTA meeting and we're just on Julia Garner's character, but he's shouting at her, like, you know, looking for an answer. He's like, why does she get to sit there? What she's the only one that knows. And then when he confronts her later on in the gas station, like, you're scared of Josh Brolin in that moment.
But then it seems to be a bit of a trope where an aggressive man tearing over quite a short in stature lady, and she says, what, you threatening me? What? No one's threatening you. No one's threatening you at all. It's like, dude, you're shouting at her, intimidating her, and you've been doing it all week to her. The last month, claiming that it's her fault all these kids are gone. But we'll get to that in a bit. Weapons. I had to see it twice to give my review on Letterboxd.
I was wondering why it took you so long to put it up on your Letterboxd.
Just couldn't articulate it.
Yeah.
I just loved it that much. And I knew once upon a time, when reading about Weapons, second movie from Zach Cregg, I was automatically going to be curious, because Barbarian was so good, that this was going to be an anthology. And I thought, okay, not the storytelling format I would generally be drawn to. And I say anthology, even though it's not really that, it's just multiple perspectives of the same story.
Yeah, anthology, I would not have described it. When you say anthology, I think Kinds of Kindness.
Well, that's what, you know, the initial reports of what this movie was going to be. And it was going to be surrounded about a classroom full of kids going missing. And maybe, you know, every 10 minutes, every 20 minutes, we change to another character's perspective. And it's like, none of the stories are connected. Well, but it would be loosely connected.
They're all connected by the classroom, and it's all from the different parents' perspectives. I could understand that all right in terms of an anthology.
But I'm so glad the way it turned out to be the way it is.
I remember watching Barbarian the first time. You had recommended it to me. I had heard about it, but I didn't know anything of the plot. And if you haven't seen Barbarian, I would 100% recommend it. I wouldn't look up anything about it. I would just recommend you go and watch it. If you like scary movies, it's a great scary movie. And so because of that film, when I found out that Weapons is by the same director as Zach Krieger, I was like, okay, brilliant. I'm not looking at anything from this. I want to be totally surprised by this film in the same way that I was surprised by Barbarian. And I'm so glad I did, because going into this movie, I had my idea of what this film was, and it just completely, I was wrong in every aspect of what I thought this film was, or almost every aspect.
What was that?
I thought it was an alien invasion. I thought that the kids had been abducted by aliens.
Oh.
And every aspect, or almost every aspect that I thought this film was going to go down, I was wrong about, and I'm so glad I was wrong about it. Like, it did everything so well that even though I was completely wrong, that doesn't bother me whatsoever. Like, the only thing I knew going into this was classroom full of kids goes missing, and I'd seen the poster of the kids running. That was it.
That is great imagery. It's a great poster. It's a great silhouette of how the kids were running away, because I remember there was an initial teaser which was just a narrative of what the young boy says at the start, where in this small town the classroom full of kids disappear. They all got out of bed at 2:17 and they ran out into the dark and they were never seen again. That was the initial teaser. That was great. Don't need to watch anymore. And I kind of stayed away from the marketing. And I never really asked myself the question, because I never normally do. Like how I don't really play in my head who is the killer in the murder mystery as I watch the movie. I just watch it and take it as it comes.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really thinking in my head, planning to come up with the answer. What happened to the kids? Where did they go? And alien invasion, an abduction. Yeah, that's a good one. I never really thought about anything at all. And the whole idea of what happened to the kids, where did they go, the significance, or as revealed, the lack thereof of the 2:17 time when they all disappeared, and how that all played into the marketing. Like, concept alone, that was the biggest straw for this movie. I thought was, what a premise for the kids to just disappear from this classroom and no one knows what happened. Like, it's one of those movies that you really want to know what the answer is to, that's released in this year. You know, when you think about 2025, you'll look back at weapons. It'll be easy to forget, but I'll try to remember that once upon a time we were all curious to know what happened to these kids.
Yeah.
What's the answer to this?
It's not even like, it's kind of funny where you could argue that these two questions are the same, but it's not where are the kids, it's what happened to the kids.
Yeah.
What drew them to get out of bed and run? Because like
to do it all at the same time.
Yeah, it's like what they say in the movie. Like, no one forced them out of their beds. No one came into their houses. No one pulled them out of their beds, kicking and screaming or anything like that. They all just got up and ran away.
Yeah, and that was a good reminder as well, that the chief of police in the town says to Josh Brolin. That was a great reminder. It's like, yeah, you're right. They all did it on their own accord. No one forced them. No one physically went in and kidnapped them. They all did it themselves. And that was a good reminder to keep us guessing and to keep us confused and wonder what did happen.
Yeah.
You know, is there anything else you have to add in terms of that premise around that concept?
Well, the only other thing that I want to point out is, did you hear about the Jordan Peele thing?
I think I heard about that once upon a time, but I think you reminded me.
So apparently when this script was initially being not auctioned off, but like, you know, studios were bidding to try and make the film, Jordan Peele's team were one of the bidders and they lost it, and Jordan Peele fired his management. Not in consequence of not getting this script, but very closely afterwards. So a lot of people speculate that because they didn't get this script, Jordan Peele moved on from his management or fired his team or whatever. And I completely understand the fact that I could see, obviously if Jordan Peele had made this movie, it would have been a different film, but you could see this being a Jordan Peele concept as well.
Yeah, you know what, you're right. It is a bit of a Jordan Peele concept, but I think thematically it's not one I'd expect from Jordan Peele because the script was already written. I feel like there's a lot of themes in Weapons that are catered more towards Zach Cregger, because he did write it, I believe, and he directed it. It feels like it's his movie. Whereas Jordan Peele's movies he writes, I believe, it's the concept and the themes he's going for. I'd be seeking out for Jordan Peele, as opposed to, well, who's in the movie or what's the movie about. Like, I'm still eager to see what his fourth film is, and there's still nothing about it. I'm going to be a little annoyed if it gets delayed to 2027. As a film that is that takes the storytelling formula of multiple perspectives. This movie, Weapons, did it so well.
I loved it.
Probably the forefront poster child of those movies. Like, I can't immediately think off the top of my head what other movies that are well beloved or highly praised, or even not as high as that are also from multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
I guess one automatically is Vantage Point, but that's not a great movie. You know, Dennis Quaid one where the president is shot. I hear Magnolia is another one. I've not seen it, but look, recency bias aside, Weapons is one of the better ones, definitely, because I was so engaged in the characters they meticulously chose to follow. Yeah. Because I feel like each character we follow, right, there's essentially 6 characters, so there's 6 title cards where a character's name appears up. Justine, Archer, Paul, James, Marcus, Alex. And
I'm shocked that you remembered all of them. Fair play. I suppose you've seen it twice, so.
But every time these perspectives popped up, I wasn't going, can we hurry up and just go back to where we just came from? Because I need to know what happened there.
Yeah.
I need to know more.
It's funny because I completely agree with you where I was watching it and it would change perspective and I'm like, okay, grand, yeah, I'm happy to continue on with this new perspective.
Yeah, stop where we ended off here and go forth from a different perspective and see where it links up.
And by the time that it would catch up and then it would end and maybe we would go back to another perspective and get a little bit more from Archer and Justine
and Archer.
Yeah, when it's like it would go back to them, I'm like, oh yeah, these two. Like he would. I was never dying to get out of anyone's perspective.
Yeah,
but everyone was so engrossing that I would forget about the other people.
I think it was also very well paced.
So well paced that you were essentially going back over the story 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Not completely. We're getting it from different people's perspectives.
The way I break it down,
we get more context for things as we experience those new perspectives.
Yeah.
Like it was a couple of days afterwards when I was thinking back on the movie and I thought back to the initial scene where Alden Ehrenreich and Julia Garner's character, when they meet in the bar for the first time, and she asks him about his finger. His finger's all bandaged, and he just like passed it off. He's like, "Oh, it's just nothing. A work thing." And then later on, we find that it's him. He put his hand in the junkie's pocket and he stabbed himself with a needle, and he completely freaks out. And it wasn't until a couple of days later I went, "Oh, that's what the finger thing was like," because it had happened so early on in the film from Justine's perspective.
You forget.
I forgot about it entirely, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's." And so I think that going back and watching it a second time must have benefited you entirely because
it did.
You've all of the pieces of the puzzle.
It did. I do have a few more questions, but they're like very needle from haystack questions where I'm like, okay, well, if it's raining in the junkie's perspective, when was it raining at this particular time elsewhere in anyone else's perspective?
Yeah.
You know, those are the type of questions I'm asking. Or just small things like that.
Yeah.
Or even when we were in Justine, the teacher's perspective, who was banging on our door last night? And just because we see Josh Brolin, Archer, his character with the paint cans, the red paint cans that we see very vividly be put in the back of his truck, well, I'm assuming he's the one who painted Witch on her car.
Yeah.
But we didn't see that. And I think...
No, but we get the inference from it that he puts him in there. And then we get another shot of it later, and we know from context, oh yeah, there's Witch on her thing, like it was him.
But we didn't see it.
No, but the language of the camera told us that it was him.
But we also didn't see who was banging on our door.
I didn't think there was anyone banging on the door.
There was. Yeah.
No, I know that there was a banging on the door, but I think it was in her head.
Really? No, I don't think so. I think...
I thought it was in her head.
I seen it twice. I needed a little bit more of a hit to the head to know that it was just all happening up there, because someone was banging on the door and no one was there. Well, some of them were banging again. She's going, "What the fuck?" And then she walks out with the pepper spray and no one was there.
Beyond what your one is doing and people's dreams, there is no like supernatural element just generally within the world of the film.
Yeah.
Like it's all either within the dreams or this person.
And that's another question as well, is the dream sequences. Why just the teacher and grieving father? Why just those two are experiencing the clown in their dreams? And why does the junkie see the clown in the far distance in the real world? Like, those are questions I'm asking myself. Why them? And why in this context? Why does the two main characters have their own dream sequences where they're experiencing their own grief? And is it just because those two are the only ones in this story are the most grieving, are the ones who are most traumatized, who are suffering with PTSD? Maybe that's the answer, but because I have to think about it, the fact that Zach Krager's not holding my hand, well, we're talking about it. But then, why does the junkie, when he's running away from the cop, why does he see the clown in the far distance?
Well, I took those as that Archer and Justine are the most connected to the kids.
Yes.
And so, because, I suppose if you think about it as like a thread, like put the kids in the middle, and Justine and Archer are connected to the kids, and the kids are connected to the witch, or the clown, whatever way you want to look at it. So that's how...
I like that it's presented to us as a clown first, but then as we get further on...
It becomes more and more
significant on what it really is.
So it's kind of like Justine and Archer are like connected to the clown through the kids. But with the junkie, I believe that she was out in that forest. Like maybe she was collecting branches or twigs or something like that.
You fully believe that was her then and there?
Yeah, I think so.
It looked more distinctively like a clown.
Yeah. See, there were a few times where she looked different throughout.
Yeah, well, yeah, but there were definitely... It was like, how do I put it? Every time we seen the witch, up until when we see her in the real world, with the principal's perspective, we've been presented to the witch as the monster hiding under your bed or lurking in the closet, the scary monster that you might think Pennywise would be.
Yeah.
And then we get to the real world and we see, oh my god, this is the monster we've been given to in small doses, and now here it is in full form. And it's just a little old lady, overly dressed, a bit goofy, overly characterized as upgiddy, bumbling, yet under the cloth sinister woman. And it's like that situation where you hear of a story but you haven't seen it, and all the rumors keep getting bigger and bigger, and they spiral out of control, where the rumors become to be this outlandish, crazy thing.
Yeah,
and then
couldn't possibly live up to. Yeah,
and then when you get to the core of it, and you realize, no, this is actually what it is. No, this is actually just what happened, and it's something very simple, very normal,
mundane. Yeah,
yeah, and because of how outlandish and out there,
it's like
how far fetched.
It's like the neighbor in Home Alone. The rumors of him having killed his family and all this stuff, and it's just a couple of kids letting their imaginations run wild.
And then it comes, no, it's at the core of it all. Here's the real situation.
Yeah.
Now that's a more positive, happy ending.
He actually is a good character.
Yeah.
But
Whereas this monster, this demonic entity that is presented to us in our dreams, as per the main characters, no, it's just a little old wagey making a few spells and summons. And I like that. Kinda. And I thought, okay, well maybe, and this is just me, shooting the shit when I say this, maybe only Archer and Justine experienced the clown because in their dreams, because those are like echoes of the spell that the witch has done. And like
the kids are trying to tell them through their dreams.
Maybe not even that. Maybe it's the after effects of the spell. It's like, here are the consequences of this woman conjuring a spell to make the kids to leave, to make them run away from their homes and come to her. Yeah. Because of that spell, not everything is perfect. There's going to be like after effects, consequences, like crumblings in the work, break a few eggs to make omelette. Yeah. So maybe the dream sequences are like the excess wasted echoes that seem to be seeping through the town, and because of it's drawn towards to those who are most connected to, like a teacher who is very caring of her students in her class, and one of the grieving fathers. Maybe Josh Brolin's character is not the only father who's grieving and is experiencing like this, but maybe because it's so still early on in the aftermath of the kids disappearing, maybe he's just the first one to act upon it and take action and to investigate himself.
Yeah, maybe all the other parents are also experiencing this, but they're just not saying anything. Like this is just the one character.
Or maybe they would have all been playing catch up, but it's just by the time they were, they're found. But yeah, do you want to talk about this movie per chapter or per character?
Talk about it per character, maybe, I think.
Okay. Well, before we do that, I'd like to just say that back to the pacing. The Justine and Archer character perspectives were so interconnected. It was great pace. And then we get into the second act where we go to Paul, the cop, and then he's so intertwined with James, the junkie. Yeah. And like that's the entire middle portion. Up until the point where, well, maybe I suppose you could throw the principal, which is like, oh yeah, this guy who we've seen at the start of the movie, we haven't seen yet, the principal, Benedict Wong. And he's like the calm before the storm, and he gets the fucking storm. And then we get to the sixth act, which is the culmination of everything drawing everything together. Because of the sacrifices we've witnessed throughout the middle portion, it brings the two leads into the fold again. And it's just kind of funny because we're following, let's say, Benedict Wong's character, the principal. We know how that turns out, but that act does not end immediately after his demise. It ends with the two main characters from the first two perspectives, the grieving father and the teacher, coming together and joining forces. And then that's when the title card comes up, where we follow the last perspective, which is the kid, where we get all the answers. You know, so it's kind of funny that even though each perspective is solely their own, purely and solely their own, it's still, when it comes to the point where we got to start wrapping things up and start revealing to the audience what's really going on, we got to make up time. And that's why we see two characters who are supporting roles in someone else's perspective. Well, yeah, we know they're the main characters. That's why we've accepted that they're taking the forefront when the leading character of this perspective is dead. You know? And by the time we're in the sixth perspective, which we should be only focusing on the kid, the two main characters are still there and we're focusing on them. We're following them. So it's like
I think the picture gets wider and wider and wider.
Yeah.
And you just accept it because we've had these other people's perspectives.
Yeah.
Now they can be included in this person's perspective.
But just look how solo and isolated the likes of the cop and the junkie perspectives were. You know? Like, that's a lot of building. Like, they're doing a lot of climbing, I felt.
Yeah. It's funny that the each character can be, you don't even have to know their names, they can all be defined by that.
The teacher, the father, the cop, the junkie, the principal, the kid.
Yeah. Isn't that good?
Yeah, I fucking love that. Yeah.
I do like the fact that by the end, like when you're in Alex's perspective and you're right, you go, okay, like we need to start giving some answers here, we need to explain what's going on. But I do like the fact that they didn't leave it all the way until that perspective, because we do get an answer. We get the answer to the mystery. We get one of the biggest answers to the mystery in the junkie's perspective.
The least reliable protagonist we could ever call upon for solving the problem and saving the day.
And even though even though there is like and we see it from the teacher's perspective, even though we get like, this house there's something weird going on, there's something strange with Alex. I did not expect for him to go downstairs and, oh, here they all are. It was just as shocking to me as it was to him that, oh, here they all are.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's you should think about, Jesus Christ, was it that easy? They're just in the basement of one house. What was I going to say? I was going to say something, and now I've lost my train of thought.
Well, while you've lost your train of thought, here are some ads. Welcome back from the ads. Have you caught that train?
No, still running after it. Oh yeah, I've caught it now. So we said that Pedro Pascal was initially casted for Josh Brolin's role. He was actually the first casted. He left for Fantastic Four. They got another actress from Fantastic Four to star this instead, Julia Garner. It's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah, it is.
But she was also not the original actress for this.
No, I think the only actor that stayed on was the junkie.
Yeah,
everyone
Austin
else.
Abrams.
Everyone else had to move around,
and that's why that guy Austin Abrams, he got a job in Zach Krager's next movie.
Yeah, he's like my guy.
Yeah, my guy. He's keeping him for the Resident Evil. Naming him Brian as well with a Y. I don't know why, but he's. I like that he seems suitable for a leading character for like a Resident Evil movie.
Yeah,
it's great to see that. We can save that for the end for what we look forward for Zach Krager. But the other casting alternatives, get this right. You won't know some of these, but you've seen Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
So the victim in that, the victim, one, she was initially casted as Justine. Pedro Pascal, as you know, was casted as Archer. Tom Burke, or Praetorian Jack from Furiosa, was initially casted as Paul the cop. And do you know who was initially casted as Marcus, the principal?
I feel as though it was like Dave Bautista, or let me think. I think I do know it, but I can't think it off the top of my head.
Will I tell you?
Yeah, go on.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, fuck, I did know that. That would have been great too.
But I think the cast scene as it is now is a given. It's better. It's superior. It's the way it should be. Like, I'm thinking about what could have been or what it would have looked like, because nearly all the characters were nearly casted. But I'm more delighted to see Julia Garner, Josh Brolin, Alden Ehrenreich, Benedict Wong, and even Austin Abrams, who plays a junkie. Do you know he was in The Walking Dead?
I did know he was in The Walking Dead. I saw him in The Walking Dead, completely forgot about him, saw him in Weapons, and then I started watching Euphoria there like a couple of weeks ago, and he was in that. And I was like, oh, it's so funny when you get exposed to an actor once, and then all of a sudden you start seeing them everywhere.
And I'm happy to see that it's going well for him. But yeah, Julia Garner, Justine, what do you make of her?
Like, I think, is it an understatement to say fell in love? Like, between this and...
oh man, I already fell in love with her when she was Charlotte Ball.
Yeah, that's it. You know, like I said in my review, it's a great year for Julia Garner fans.
Yeah.
Like, between Wolfman, Fantastic Four, and this, she's great. I love the opening where, like, I feel so detached from the story because there's so many shots of, like, people's backs and, like, you don't get anyone's face for so long. And her perspective, like, she's in a way as much a victim as all these kids, where she's just, all of a sudden all these kids are gone and they're all from her classroom, no one else's classroom. It's not like all these kids from the school are gone missing. It's all specifically her classroom. So just the mental turmoil that she's going through. But I do like the fact that she's not a victim. She doesn't see herself as like a victim where she's just moping around and stuff like that. Yeah, she is, and she's drinking and stuff like that, but she goes to the bar to meet up with Paul, and she ends up sleeping with him, you know, and that's...
She's a bit flawed.
She's a flawed character, yeah. She's not perfect or anything like that. But like,
when you think about your perfect A-star protagonist who's going to solve the day in your horror thriller movie, in a realistic situation, I guess it's wrong to hug kids because they're your student in your class, and you hug them because they're crying, or you give someone a lift home because they missed the bus, and she sees it as not a problem, yet she was probably dismissed from her previous school because of that, so she's now in a new school, and these are just one of many things added to the list of why she's likely the culprit of causing the disappearance of all the kids. And those, from our perspective as the audience, no, that's fine. That makes her a very, very good character and a very moral, nice person. But the other things that does make her
you can still be a nice person but do the wrong thing.
Yeah, like...
especially when it comes to kids. Like, you have to be so careful around kids in every single scenario.
But I think that's... It makes her, like, as a whole person, good.
Yeah, she's a rounded character, I agree. I think that there's no badness in her, I don't think. But it's not the right thing to do in a situation.
But she still seems to be struggling with alcoholism. It seems like it's not her first time. She had a DUI before, as stated by Josh Brolin. And she is a bit of a temper, you know. She's impatient. Find her at the wrong day, she might come across as a villain. A bit.
Yeah.
It could happen. And that's what's good about this. And... you could say the same thing for someone like Josh Brolin, even if anything. But with Julia Garner's character, where she's even following the kid home, the only other victim of this...
yeah, she wants to see if she can get answers from him, and she's going about it completely the wrong way. Like, she's already said it to the principal, Benedict Wong's like, if I could just talk to Alex. And he's like, no, it's just a straight up no is the answer.
Yeah.
And yet, here she is then following him home and, like, trying to catch him. He's like, hey, how are you? And, you know, it's just... she's doing all the wrong things, you know, and you're like, no, just stop, just let it go.
I also liked a lot of the shots with her. It would be like from the waist shot for a while, whether it be her entering the class and she sees all the kids are gone bar one, or when she's setting up a drink for herself and someone's knocking on her door, or how she enters the convenience store and the shot is completely on her, but we see in the background red top woman coming after her, Donna, I think her name is always a Donna, isn't it? And Donna's the wife of Paul, and she slept with Paul, and you know, she gets a load of alcohol poured all over her, and she's a victim in that case, but she goes home, drinks her tears away.
That's another one of those things that it's a puzzle, a piece of the puzzle that you don't get until much later on, because like initially you see that, and because we've had the context of the parent teacher meeting, and all of them shouting at her, like you think it's just another parent that's had a child that they've lost or something like that, and because they've had the scene in the bar where Paul says they're not together, him and Donna, like, or they're on the outs or something like that, you don't even register the fact that, oh, this could be Donna or anything like that. You think it's just a parent that's come to.
Oh, she did say Donna when she said Donna. Like, she reacted.
Oh yeah,
to her.
but when she's following her behind,
Oh, yeah,
like, all
no.
in the lead up, you think it's just another parent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or someone who's like in a mental state and
Yeah, you don't know fully.
yeah, part of the supernatural, possibly supernatural reason as to why things are going on in the town, and she's just a target. But
I think one of my favorite scenes for her is, and it's probably one of the scariest scenes. I think we didn't really talk about any of the scares of this film. Some of the scares are brilliant, and I think that they do so well where they will do the jump scares, but they'll also do these super long, uncomfortable scenes. And the one I'm thinking of is when she is parked outside of Alex's house and falls asleep.
Yeah.
And the mother comes to the door with a knife.
But
And the camera follows her as she walks completely down to the car, and she like gets to the car window and then moves on past it, and you're like, you can, breath of just like relief. And then you hear the door open on the other side and you don't see it anymore.
Off screen.
And you're like, oh my God, this is awful. And then the cutting of the hair, and it's like mystery and scares and what you can't see and what you have seen, and all of these elements all coming together in this one scene. I thought it was just so scary.
when that car door opens, all you want to do is just look to your left and see how close is this thing standing next to you.
Is it in the back seat? Is she gonna wake up, drive away, and she's in the back seat?
I thought she was going to wake up and drive away.
Yeah.
And the thing was just going to be sitting there. The way the door opens as well, very creepy.
Yeah.
And just static, nothing. That door opens a few times, and the door opens to a very void black house.
Yeah.
And you just walk in and you're in darkness. Alex, the kid, walks into a dark house and the door closes. Same thing when Paul, the cop, walks into darkness.
It's almost like a ghost has opened the door. Like there's nothing else in there. It's like that's a loading screen that hasn't loaded yet. They've just walked in and they wait until it's time to leave, and then they're out again.
But you did mention the jump scare with Justine's perspective in her house, in her bed.
When she's dreaming, when she thinks she sees something down the hall.
Yeah.
And then she lays back in bed, and there it is on the roof.
The ceiling.
Yeah.
But it's a proper clown. And I like how quick the shot is. Like, you see just enough of what it is. Like, quickly you are to think it is a clown. In more outrageously clownish makeup. But yeah, I'd be reacting the same, like, what the fuck? But like, that would be the unconscious or subconscious remnants, initial excess waste of the after effects of the hag's spell, echoing through the most troubled, emotionally traumatized victims of this situation overall. You know, just I would be more satisfied if Zach Crager came out and said, yeah, at least half the parents of kids who disappeared were experiencing their own little dream sequences where they experienced the clown. That would satisfy my answer. I was like, grand, we're just not following those characters, we're just following these characters. But yeah, Justine's perspective ends after her hair gets cut by that. And then it ends there and we go straight into Archer, and the first thing I notice and I love is that he's sleeping in his son's bed.
It's a real
parenting today.
It's a believable moment that like of a parent that has lost a child would just surround themselves with their child's things. It's the hope that kills you, I think, where his son isn't dead, he's just missing. But he doesn't want to like let go of that. Like he's still,
it's only been a month,
but he doesn't want to admit that his son probably isn't coming back. And it's really hard, and
it's obviously put a strain between him and his wife.
We only get that one.
I'm going to work.
That's it. We don't see the wife again.
And he's missing out on things with work. Like, he's the head of his own construction company.
But he's ordering the wrong stuff, ordering the wrong paint.
And then he's taking time out of his working day to focus on stalking Justine. And he's the man who's calling her out. And I like that we all know that was Josh Brolin, but it's not revealed to us until it's his perspective. And when we're following behind his perspective, like it's the back of his head, and he's walking out after the crowd, and like they're all Clamoring, crowding over her. He's got his own mission. He gets in his truck and he follows her all the way to the store, all the way to home. And by the way, when she goes to the store for the first time, that was James out there asking for a quarter, and he's opening the door. He does it like twice. Typical junkie. He asks the same person twice for a quarter, giving her the same spiel. But he says, "Oh, thank you. Have a good evening anyway."
I did notice that was him.
Yeah.
The first time, so.
I forgot. I knew everyone was going to be a perspective character except him. Of course, I didn't really know about the kid either. But yeah, he was the most nice surprise. But Josh Brolin, he has his own dream sequence. And it's kind of strange in a way, especially, it's probably normal these days, but you have your A-star, hard-ass, action man capable of getting himself out of any situation. And you put him in a horror movie. And you put him in a movie where he could be a victim of a very devastating, very disturbing incident. Because your cool A-star action man is not supposed to be a victim of things beyond his control. He's supposed to get himself out of any situation.
Yeah.
But you can't grab yourself a gun and shoot yourself out. You can't grab yourself infinity stones and escape from this situation. And it's like seeing... I suppose a close thing would be seeing Leonardo DiCaprio in Shutter Island experiencing things that are beyond his control. It's just, you're not used to it. You're not used to seeing someone so capable on screen to deal with nearly every situation, in drama to action to science fiction.
Yeah.
And
Just be at a complete loss. Yeah.
Yeah. But at a loss where he's running away from the ghostly figures, or he's being frightened from the ghostly figures. And the one thing to see his reaction that would be a natural thing is he wakes up from the dream frightened, scared of his life, and he shouts, "What the fuck?" Like that's I think I would say that, but it maintains his masculinity of the man who is capable of getting himself out of the situation, you know, like he even is like that at the end anyway, in the final perspective. But
there's one thing I do really dislike in movies, and I'm really glad that this one didn't do that.
What's that?
I really don't like when there are dream sequences, but the character and then the audience can't tell what's a dream and what's real. Like dream and reality kind of mixed together. And I'm glad that we only really get two kind of dream sequences in this, but they're very clearly this character is asleep. Yeah. And so once we're in the dream sequence and we know we're in the dream sequence, then I'm like, then do whatever you want. Yeah. I could not care less what you do now, because I know it's a dream and dreams are weird. And so much so that there's a floating AK-47 above the house that's just not explained, because it's just dream logic.
Yeah, but it has to be a reason.
If you want to put a reason to it, the movie is called Weapons. And the kids are like heat-seeking missiles. Like, they're weapons. And so that was the connection, the only connection his brain could make. But realistically, it's an AK-47 with 217 on the side of it. Like, it's nothing. It's dream logic. How many times have you been in a dream yourself? You've been asleep, you've had a dream, and it's the completely, absolute maddest dream in the world. You wake up and you're like, what the fuck was I doing? How did I think that was real? But while you're in the dream, I have to do this. Yeah. I have to make 17 burgers for King Elephant. Like, I have to do that. But when you wake up, you're like, what? How am I so stupid that I did not know that was a dream?
Did you have a dream where you had to make 17 burgers for a King Elephant?
No, but I'm just, just that random. I did have a time where I had to play badminton against a giraffe.
Man, you should write your dreams down.
No, because they're nonsense. Nobody wants to hear about your dreams. Oh, I had a dream about you last night. Okay, I don't care. Who wants to hear about a dream, really? The dream is only interesting to the person that had it.
Yeah, okay.
So, in the movie, when like weird stuff was happening in dreams, I'm like, perfectly fine, absolutely. If they had gotten to a point where it was like they presented a scene as if it was real, and then a character woke up, that would have annoyed me. A close thing that I thought, where is this real or not, was, and it's still in Josh Brolin's perspective, and by the way, I'll get to that in a minute, remind me, don't let me forget, but I did like his little investigation where he was trying to figure out where the kids were going, and he got that, he wasn't using Google Maps, he got an old-fashioned map of the town, and he draws the line, he gets trigonometry, and I'm surprised that he was the first person to do that a month in. The police didn't do that, they all seem to be heading in this Like, no one would have figured that out. They all run straight.
But he didn't find an exact target. He only got 2 kids, his own and someone else's. Someone else's, their father was actually Justin Long. Yeah. Great cameo. I also liked he goes up to his wife's house.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and like she says, I'm not comfortable with that. Instantaneously. It's like they've never spoken, but she probably doesn't like him anyway. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's fair enough. I respect that. He just waits for the husband to come home and he asks him instead.
Man to man. Yeah. Can I see this?
And he lets her in and she's just standing.
She's so pissed off.
She's pouting, arms crossed, and she's so angry he's not getting
in tonight. That as soon as Josh Brolin leaves, they're having a fight.
Yeah.
We don't get to see that, but that's a fight.
They're going to be fucking tanking him by the end of it because he's technically is one of the heroes at the end. But I just love how it was done and executed. Like, where he's counting the squares of the footpath on the pavement, but by the time he gets to like 1, 2, 3, 4, he gets to 5, and it's him walking it in real life, and he gets his little laser. Handyman needs that in these days, and he gets the perspective on what direction their kid was going. And then he gets a circle of a certain radius of where the kids ran off to, but he doesn't get an answer to that until towards, I suppose, the end of that day.
Yeah.
Because he was interrupted because he saw the witch drive into the convenience store, and he says, I'm going to confront this woman.
Yeah.
And he goes to confront her anyway.
And she has the missing piece to his puzzle. She knows that's where Alex lives.
But we don't get that yet because a few other perspectives have to happen. Like threefold. And in this perspective here, we see someone else run with the heat-seeking missile motion, if you will. And I thought, is this real or not? Is this a dream sequence or not? And the fact that it's happening in Josh Brolin's perspective, it's about her. And it's Marcus, the principal, Benedict Wong. Also, another actor of a certain caliber, where I'm surprised to see him undergo certain prosthetics and go through such physical performance, and to perform a certain way where I'm not used to. And you have all the questions in the world, and he charges up to strangle Justine, and he's just non-responsive. He's just a complete rage monster from 28 days later. And this is from Josh Brolin's perspective, Archer. And so he gets knocked on his back, and he tries to get him off of her, but he gets knocked back again. And by the time he looks up, Justine's already crawled under the car, and Marcus is crawling after her. But we don't get that perspective until later on, when it's the other person, when it's actually Marcus. But this perspective is Archer, and he like stops Marcus from attacking her, and it ends then and there where Marcus is just choking him out. What the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah.
I didn't have an answer for that. I didn't even know what to think. Did you have an answer for that?
No, not at all, because like at this point, it still hadn't quite clicked with me that it was a witch. I suppose it was witchcraft that was doing this,
and it's good, isn't it? Witchcraft. It's a good answer.
It is a good answer. The movie tricked me though twice, because like I said, I went into this thinking that it was a alien abduction story. Whilst watching the film, I should have clocked it. When he writes witch, that's the answer. Josh Brolin writes it on Justine's car. The answer is witch. We're given that, like, from her perspective, it's a witch. But it never clocked with me that that's what realistically, he should have wrote bitch.
Yeah.
But he wrote witch. But then another thing, I still couldn't figure out what it was. And there were 2 times where I thought I had the answer. And I thought it once, and then I thought it the second time, and I thought the second time confirmed it for me. When I think we get it twice, when Justine first walks into the classroom, when none of the kids are there, it's only Alex, on the whiteboard, they've been learning about parasites. And when she walks back in her dream sequence, it's still on the board, parasites. When we get it from Benedict Wong's perspective, they're watching a documentary on
The Last of Us,
on cordyceps.
Yeah.
And so I went, parasites. Okay, it's something to do with parasites. I thought that the movie I'd cocked it once, and I cocked it a second time. I was like, okay, that's the answer. It's something to do like that. No, completely wrong. Those were just 2 red herrings that maybe they weren't even red herrings. Maybe I just picked up on a pattern there that wasn't intentional. But then it has to be intentional that they put the cordyceps thing on the TV. So
it's very specifically chosen for a reason. Like, red herring, yes, but another reason as to why they chose the cordyceps fungus taking over your brain is the same reason why it's an AK-47. Why? Well, it's a weapon, isn't it? You just made me understand that when you said that then and there. But
so I'm happy that it was a witch. Like that's it explains kind of the supernatural elements that aren't supernatural, like the dream scares and stuff
witchcraft.
Like that. Yeah, it's witchcraft. Yeah, and it's been a while since we've had a good witch in a film,
especially in a modern movie.
Yeah, when was the last time we had the answer be a witch?
I don't know.
Couldn't tell you. I'd have to think about it.
I wouldn't be so quick to call her a witch either. I'd be quick to call her a hag.
I suppose a hag. Like, what's the difference between a hag and a witch?
This one.
I don't know. Like a witch, I would say, is someone that conceals their identity, creates potions, and possesses people, and gets people to do their bidding for them. Like, I don't know what I would define as a hag. I suppose I would use them as interchangeable.
I think the hag would be more of the visual look. The more of the true nature of it, you know? Like,
yeah, I'd say a witch is a hag.
Yeah.
But not a hag. But a hag isn't a witch.
We're getting too deep right now.
Yeah.
And we're not even on that perspective yet. We're on Paul now, Alden Ehrenreich's character. I really like this guy.
I like how flawed he was as well, where the fact that he's cheating on his missus, he chases your man down, and he tackles him to the ground, and then it's not even like he reads him his rights or anything like that. He's like, "Oh, we went down pretty hard there. Are you okay?" Like he treats him with a bit of decency. Like, checks in on him.
And I counted this. He in 4 different ways. He asks him,
"Is there anything in your pockets? I don't want to get stabbed."
He asks him that like 4 different ways. Have you got anything in your pockets? Have you got any weapons on you? Have you got something that might hurt me? Mm-hmm. Are you sure? Mm-hmm. The guy, poor fucking God love him. But the guy did not know what earth he was on.
No. I kind of do think that, he didn't know what earth he was on. Also probably didn't know exactly what he had in his pockets.
Yeah, but he knew well enough to run away because he saw cops equals bad. Mm-hmm. But it's just kind of funny. He should have patted him. He shouldn't have put his hand.
Yeah, he should have patted him down first.
Then never put your hand in the pocket, all right? I've learned that.
Yeah.
But I like how his reaction was
instantaneous reaction. He pulls the hand out, looks at the blood, and just bam, punches him in the side of the head.
Oh, but that's all the frustration he has built up in his life that he doesn't like. He doesn't seem to be happily married. He doesn't seem to be enjoying having his father-in-law.
He's also in his mind. His mind is rushing here. Is like, I've got AIDS. This guy has just given me AIDS.
Yeah. If they would have indicated in Justine's perspective a little bit more so that he was a germaphobe. That would have been good, you know. That would have been more solidifying for us to point out. Yeah, he's a germ freak. Mm-hmm. That would have been great.
Well, I don't think anyone would be happy about getting stuck by a needle.
For the nature of this character and who he is in this movie, in this particular situation, the more the merrier. You know? The more you get to add to it, I think the better. Mm-hmm. And man, the jaw dropped when the rack to focus went from his face to the camera in his car.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then he tries to fix him up and he tries to let him go. But he seems all cool about it, you know, he lets him go. And I'll say this now so I don't forget, but when we shift to James' perspective, the junkie, when he's looking up at Alden Ehrenreich's character, it seems very towering and very dominating. And very threatening, like when he says, if you do come back, we're going to have a problem and it's going to be a different story. And I felt bad for James.
Yeah.
Because we're looking at it from his perspective, looking at the very mean, bad cop.
But there's, in any situation, there's 3 truths. There's how I experienced it, there's how you experienced it, how it happened.
Yeah.
And we get it initially from James' perspective.
But from Paul's perspective.
Sorry, we get it from Paul's perspective. And that's how he experienced it. He sat the guy up, he told him, you know, checked if he was alright, and then, you know, gave him a warning.
Yeah.
Whereas then from James's perspective, he comes to after being knocked out, and there's this cop standing over him telling him that he better fuck off or else he's gonna get thrown in prison.
Yeah.
Like, it's, even though we saw the same thing, it's 2 different perspectives. It's completely different.
And do you know what else as well? We're getting to the end of Paul's perspective here because he lets James go and then he gets confronted for cheating on his wife, and then he has the little, like, life in work is not going to get better for James.
No.
Life and work is not going to get better for Paul. And he walks out of the station more angrier than he has. And who does he see coming up again? The one fucking person he told to stay away.
Yeah.
And the way the junkie was looking at him, he was staring off at him in the distance thinking, oh shit.
Yeah. Where do I know that guy from? Yeah.
And he runs away again. And then Paul gets in the cop car, chases after him, and he unlocks the shotgun holster. And he removes the camera as well. like
What's great about that chase sequence is
actually this particular chase sequence cuts then and there. But the chase sequence earlier.
I'm talking about just the initial shoutings. Like,
Yeah.
what did I tell you?
Yeah.
What's brilliant about that is when we get it from James' perspective, and we know what he's going to the police station to say,
and
it's like, Paul,
Yeah,
come on, we're almost at the end of the movie.
he's the hero we didn't need. He
Yeah.
was about to solve all the problems. He was about to save a lot of lives.
Mm-hmm.
The junkie could have been the hero of this story for his own selfish personal gain.
Yeah.
But he was about to do a good deed. You know, he said he was phobic for police stations, and he was about to walk in on his own accord. And he's being threatened away by this because of this particular certain circumstance. Because the movie has to happen. And it's like, we get in Paul's perspective A to B, because it's very interconnected with James. But with James, we get his perspective from B to C. Because,
that's like one story told from two perspectives, from two characters. Whereas with Julia Garner's character and Josh Brolin's, they feel like completely separate stories that intertwine.
Yeah.
Whereas Paul and James are one story told in two halves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it kind of cuts the black with them. And then we go to James, and you actually I feel for this guy. You know, the only thing unconvincing about him being a junkie is his perfectly white teeth.
Yeah.
But like even like the little quick pan camera shots of him like lighting his little what do you call those things you inhale? The pipe. Yeah.
Oh, a crack pipe.
Pipe. Yeah. The quick lighting of the crack pipe, to quick grab of the needles, to quick grab of whatever he needs to do, like to clean it out. Like the camera work was actually very good. It's like Austin Abrams and Zach Rager became great buddies.
Yeah.
In this scene altogether, and I think maybe. As much as I love Julia Garner, I love everyone in this. Well, I think Austin Abrams somehow
Stole the show?
Secretly stole the show.
Yeah.
Somehow I feel like that. Maybe it's the character he plays. Maybe it's the less popularity he is. Maybe it's the story in his arc. But, you know, you feel bad for him, but he's still like walking by all cars trying to open them up to steal them.
You know what? That's actually the scariest part of the movie. The fact that, like, someone would just walk around and just start like handles, like not nonchalantly. It's not like someone would walk past and go like, hold on, what's he doing? And he's just pulling doors to see if any of them opens. It's not like he's actively going. He's on the phone talking to someone else.
So it's like second nature. He's multitasking.
Yeah. So you should always lock your car, no matter what, no matter where you leave it. Just make sure it's locked.
But I like how, nonchalantly, he is doing this as if it's an everyday thing. He's doing it like he's breathing, and he no moral, no remorse whatsoever. Takes a little girl's fucking iPad.
Yeah.
What a prick. What a proper junkie. Absolute gouger. But still, no, I feel bad for him because he's living in a tent in the middle of the woods and it's lashing rain. And he's after being abused by a cop, but we understand why. And he's released, right? And this is where we go from B to C afterwards, from Paul's perspective, in a way. He's walking in the rain and he's just drenched. Like, the guy's going nowhere in life. And I really feel for him. And then again, you're thinking, why are we following this character? And he comes across the house that Julia Garner did, and we go further on. And he breaks in. Typical junkie. Walks into the kid's bedroom. No remorse. Actually steals his pillowcase, takes a bit of his food, and he goes downstairs to steal the silverware. And we get an answer for what we saw earlier, which is why we saw two silhouette figures sitting static on a couch that Justine saw from her perspective through the window.
It's like a half answer. I wouldn't even say it's a full answer, because we see them again, but not what's wrong with them. Why are they still here? We also get another piece of the puzzle, which was the soup cans. When he's walking around the kitchen, he just picks up empty soup cans. And that's like, it's not a piece of the puzzle. Well, it is a piece of the puzzle. It's not like a puzzle that we needed answered, but we see what the context of that is later, you know?
Yeah. And I like how immediately apologetic he was. I'm sorry, because he broke into their house. You good? And like, I actually thought like he nearly would have called the police for them if they needed it. And then he walked in and he found the kids, and then the mother and father, who are sitting static on the couch for God knows how long, get up and start charging at him like fucking Terminators. And you're actually feeling for him, you need him to escape, and he does. And then straight away to the pawn shop again. Straight away with the silverware.
Yeah, like it's not that he goes to the police to say all these kids are down in a basement or I saw this super freaky house.
No.
It's in the pawn shop where he sees $50,000 reward for all these kids that he goes, where have I seen all these kids?
He's actually staring at it, very static, like white noise. There's nothing happening up there. It's like a static TV where no channels on. He's just staring at it, and he stares down at the pictures of all the kids.
Yeah.
$50,000 reward.
Tick, 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 ding. Like, it takes a minute for him.
Yeah, and he doesn't even go straight to phoning the number on the missing children's poster. He gets high first. Yeah. He has to get high first.
Yeah.
Because he needs the superpowers. He needs his fix, you know? And then he calls the number and he's inquiring about how he's going to receive the money. And then he doesn't want to go to the police station, but he does go anyway. I'm telling you now that if this movie happened in a different way, this junkie, James, is the main character. And he's the savior. He's the hero of the day. And it's just funny how realistic that could have been for his own selfish reasons, for his own personal gain, just to get high, just to get money. To throw it all on drugs. And we go forth here where he runs away in the woods. You know, he's mocking Paul. Hey, what'd I tell you? What'd I tell you? Like, not a bother. And then he sees the clown in the far distance. And he's like...
A little less clownish, a bit more like,
human-like.
Yeah.
Waving at him. It's like she knew he was there because she was already waving. But it still felt like a little bit of a ghostly figure. It still feels like it's the remnants.
Do you think maybe it's... because he now had a connection with the kids.
Maybe.
And that's how he saw it.
Maybe,
because he has the connection through the kids to her.
Maybe because he was in the environment. Maybe he saw it. Maybe that's why. Because, you know, it's a different story with Alex, the kid, because he's always around the witch.
He's around both, yeah.
So maybe, that's a good point. See that, man? We're answering each other's questions here.
Yeah.
Well, you're giving me all the answers. but yeah, man, that's very good. Yeah, because he was in the house. He saw an echo of the spell and who conjured it, and it's invading him, but it wasn't really there. It was just a ghost figure. It was just like seeing something that's not there.
But you know what, that whole moment is so scary that when he goes back to the tent and the footsteps are approaching the tent, I completely forgot that he was being chased by Paul.
Yeah.
And so when he attacks him with the needles and then he gets 3 needles in his face, I'm like, oh no! Like, I was like, this kid's dead. Like, you know what he did when he got 1 fucking needle in his finger, and now he's got 3 needles in his face. We
didn't even see him get like the medication to put in his face or anything like that. He just, fuck's sake, he just angers it off. I'm sorry. First thing he says, like, this guy could literally shoot your mother, and he'll say, I'm sorry.
He's just straight away apologizing, but it means nothing. Yeah, he's saying I'm sorry because it's like this. That's what you have to do to make. Exactly. Yeah, he's been brought up to say sorry no matter what. Yeah.
But immediately he's going to take him to the kids, and I like Paul puts the gun to his face. He's lashing out on him, but I like how his senses come to it. Okay, I'll see what this junkie has to say. Yeah, takes him to the house and he's inquiring about it. I was like, you two guys literally could be the heroes of this movie now at this point. And this pinning Paul and James together is almost like a bit of its own little short film I'd like to see. Not that it would be a buddy road trip that would end in a optimistic way, but it's a great pairing to see.
Two unlikely characters forced to work together,
become best friends. It's like, it's fun to think about what could be. And even James is going like, sir, how do I know you're not going to take all that prize money for yourself? Yeah, the reward money.
That's still all he's thinking about. Like, he doesn't care about the welfare of the kids. He's like,
but Paul's just staring at him. He's like, you're a waste of space.
I'm doing this for the kids. Yeah, you're doing this for the money.
He doesn't even answer him. But Paul walks up to the house and the door opens and he walks into the black void and the door closes. Oh man. And then cut to night. He's sitting in the car all day and you just know what happened. And then out comes Paul, all aggressive, not doing the heat missile walk. No, not doing that type of run, but he drags James in, and part of me feels like I really did want James to get out of that situation, but it cuts to black there. And then we go on to Marcus. we've gone through so much energy and so much scares and set up. We're going to plateau again. We're going to go into this nice, easy couple where we see what looks to be a happy man with his partner. Loving home, respected member of the community. Benedict Wong plays him great. And I think this is the start of where we get all the answers, and we get Alex's aunt. The hag. We see her in a human form in the real world, and we all know she's the cause of it all.
Kind of like as soon as you see her, even if we hadn't seen the images of the clown,
yeah,
you kind of look at her and you go, yeah, it's probably you. Like, she's just like a little bit too eccentric looking.
Yeah, definitely something you could see in a post-apocalyptics maybe.
Yeah,
because it's just so not her. It's every way obvious a disguise.
Yeah,
and when she goes to his home, like how fake she is and how she is out of breath and missed the bus, and she gets invited in by her Benedict Wong's husband or partner, and she's asking for strange questions like, "Oh, a bowl of water, please." It's a peculiarity of mine. I don't feel like I need to explain anymore.
Yeah, and they just accept it.
I mean, in this world where we all have to be friendly and nice, and where rightists would call woke. Yeah, I'd imagine like you wouldn't question why a strange woman who enters your home, who does come across as...
I'll be honest with you now. If someone walks into my house and asks for a bowl of water, I'd be like, no.
Well,
you can have a glass of water, or you can go thirsty.
Well, hey, look, as soon as she... not when she cut herself with the stick, but when she used scissors to cut off his partner's hair, that's when he was going to call the police. And it's good to see some answers in this case, because she pulls out a twig. And she pulls out an object that belonged to Marcus and puts her blood on it because she's conjuring up the spell. And this is where we get a lot of the answers here in visual. We're presented with a lot of what the effects is, but not why or even how. We never are told how, because it's witchcraft. In the day, we're not given those answers. But
yeah,
he's possessed. He's like, I don't even know how really to describe it. It's like he's under her control.
Under her control, he can't stop until he's done what needs to be done, and that's kill his partner.
Yeah, and he did that. He did it in any way possible.
Smashing his head into his partner's head.
And at least we know how his face got like that. Like, I really liked to see the prosthetics and the makeup going on to Benedict Wong, where his eyeballs are popping out of his sockets.
Yeah.
And she puts Justine's hair on, and it's for someone who might not be paying attention, it's a great answer. Because she's the one who had her hair cut. Yeah. And
you don't even need her, like, you don't need her to pull it out and say, oh, this is
no
so-and-so's hair. It's
And do you know what else as well? Is that the last time we see Justine from her perspective is that night where her hair is cut.
Yeah.
But the next time we see her, she just woke up there and drove away to the gas station. And that's when we see her next. So we're not even given screen time before waking up, leaving, and it's like, what happened? Not even noticing that a piece of hair is gone, but she still touches the top of her head anyway. Like, we're not even given that. We just are given what's there, and we put pieces together. And we all know he chases after her, and the way he runs at her, the same heat-seeking missile. I think that's the term we're giving it now, is it? Heat-seeking missile run, the weapons run, the multiple shots they had Benedict Wong run. Like, the guy, he's an older man. He's not, Joe Fitness, but do you think that was him running with the back of his head and with the feet? Because he's running.
I'd say, yeah, he probably gave it a go, all right, yeah.
Try running like that with your arms out. I don't think it's going to be the easiest.
Yeah, well.
The many shots going through the neighborhood and through the baseball stadium and then through the car park, and then he makes it all the way to the gas station. It's like he knew where she is.
He's like, they're targeted. Like, it's, they don't need to know, all right, where they're going. It's just like...
Like, if I was about to go for a target, I'm not going out through the back door. I'm going straight through that window. Yeah. Because if it's gonna shave off...
I have to go the most direct route,
the quickest way possible. And we're on Marcus's perspective. What we see then, we transition to Justine, where she runs into the convenience store. And we see her perspective run away. And Marcus is charging after her. So I guess he just stopped strangling Josh Brolin.
Because he's not there to kiss Josh. Josh Brolin in that moment is an obstacle.
Yeah. And
he's not there to kill Josh Brolin. So as soon as he has dealt with that obstacle,
Yeah,
he's back to getting her.
But we didn't see him get off of Josh Brolin and run away. Like, we are automatically just shown he enters the store after Justine.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a adrenaline rush. It's a
Bit of action, yeah.
bit of exhilaration, and to see Josh Brolin smash himself and Benedict Wong against the glass. It doesn't stop Benedict Wong. He still gets up. I like the little exchange Justine has with the shopkeep, where he shouts off screen, "Get out of my store!" And she says, "Fucking help me!" It's funny stuff. And she gets in the car. Mark is still trying to smash in, and he's getting it's nothing but aggression and rage, and he still runs after her.
Yeah, it's not like she gets away and he stops and like, oh, what am I going to do next? He just keeps going and going and going.
He could be out of breath and he'll still charge after her. If he was to complete his task and then he'll be released from the spell, he'll probably die from exhaustion. He'll probably have a heart attack because of how much running, how much aggression, how much energy he's put into this one deed. And we shift to Josh Brolin's perspective, where he leaves the store and he gets into the car, and it's good. He's staying in the action. He's going to save her. And come on, you son of a bit, gets hit by a car. And then Archer and Justine have their little exchange outside the hospital. But this is supposed to be Marcus's perspective.
Yeah.
Marcus is dead. And this is where the two heroes come together. Two unlikely allies, a great pairing. And that's where they know this is where the house is. Alex's house. We need to go there. And then we get Alex's perspective. And we see that he comes from a loving home and a very bright, warm family.
I don't know about you. I felt as though Alex's perspective was a little bit too long. It started to lose me a little bit in Alex's perspective.
It was a little long, and I remember watching it the second time around and thought, okay, I know we have a bit to go through. But I thought after a while we went through. Like, if you really think about it, Zach Prager did a great job speeding up the process of introducing the fact that in Alex's perspective, he has an aunt coming to live with them, and he needs to get acquainted with her, and he needs to get used to her, and he needs to see her coming in and being her own little way where she makes the house her own, and then this shit happens. But I felt like it happens instantaneously. It literally takes over the course of one school day. He leaves the house one morning after seeing the creepy old woman already awake, and she's staring at him. That's great. Jump scare where no like sound effects happens, but he comes home and the deed is done. His parents are under the spell from her, and she's already taken over the household. She's already in her like get up.
Do you know what it is? I think it's because we get pretty much all of our answers through Alex's perspective, but we still have to have the conclusion. Like, we go back to kind of
we're still going back
Justine
to Justine
and Archer. No. It's that once we get all the answers from Alex, then we still have to have the final confrontation. Whereas, I think in another movie, you would have had all of the answers take place at the same time as the final conclusion.
Well, I felt like by the time we had all our answers and we're getting near the end, Alex looks out his window and he sees that Justine and Archer are sitting in the car waiting to come in. The police car is already there. You know, Alex comes home, and Paul and James are already standing there in the room as if, okay, I guess my aunt's up to one of her own antics again. But to get to the conclusion, the whole setup where she just ruins Alex's living life.
Yeah, she demonstrates the control she has now over his parents, making them stab themselves in the face
with forks.
Like, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. And it's a really interesting portrayal of like child abuse, that there are some kids that would be living in, obviously not this situation, but a situation where something's going on at home and they're told, don't talk about this to anyone at school because I can do this. You know, if it's a father abusing a mother, I can do this to your mother. If it's a mother doing it to a father, I can do this to your father. I can do this to you. I can do this to your brothers and sisters. Do not say anything, you know. And that's a real fear that some kids have. And even then, when all of his classmates are taken and they disappear and the whole town is grieving, he still doesn't say anything because of what she can do to his parents.
Yeah, and
now what she can do to all of his friends.
And like, we're friends.
Yeah,
classmates.
I think it's a very funny thing that we find out, you know, at the very end as well, that it's Josh Brolin's kid that is actually the bully.
Yeah,
you know, that's Matthew, the one that's been, you know, throwing pens at Alex and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's a good reveal in a way, but it probably also adds to the home life Matthew goes through, where he doesn't really get much emotion from his father.
Yeah.
Because Josh Brolin is opening up, I'm sorry, I wish I could tell you that I love you, but I feel it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, we get that answer, but it doesn't get resolved in the movie. Not that we would see anyway, but there's so many things I liked, even smaller details, where when Alex first comes home, he goes up to his parents and like they're still in the early stages of being under that trance. It's like the aunt and Gladys, she goes by, the hag, the witch, she put a soft trance on them where they could respond to his answers, but very like off the cuff, because he just turns to his son and he says, "Hey X man," but then he doesn't really answer after that.
Yeah.
And then the mother looks up to him, "Hey, how was school?" It's like the surface level things.
They've got a base level of responses
Yeah.
that they can give almost.
But
Yeah.
but as the months progressed, it's nothing. They're like sitting there still, like they're getting fucking bed sores from sitting still doing nothing. When Gladys said that she could make them hurt each other, I can make them eat each other if I want. That's enough graphic image that I need from that. I don't really need to see that, but like the fact that I believe that. You know, we're coming off from Bring Her Back, where cannibalism is a little bit present.
Yeah.
You know, so we have that imagery to go on what Alex's parents would look like if they were to start eating each other, because they would do it without hesitation,
Without question. Yeah. It's not,
they don't feel pain, so they'll do it to the point where the job is done until they can't anymore. You have to be killed. You have to kill the person if they're under this trance. And you know, Gladys tries very quickly and impatiently to get Alex settled into this new way of life, but as soon as he like hesitates, she says, "Now Alex, don't be rude." And he gets the glass of water, tries to pour on his father to wake him up. Go to your room. No dinner for you, young man. You better go, mister. I mean it. And this is when she's wearing the wig, but not the glasses, but the wig and the real get-up dress. But by the time she sets the rules, she's already like in her like a head gown.
Yeah.
She's like not even going to try.
She's siphoned off a little bit of life from these two. Like that's what she's doing, is siphoning off life.
Draining their energy, draining their essence, essentially. And like, and, you know, apparently she's the older sister to Alex's mother. And
No, it's his mom's aunt.
I do remember her saying to Benedict Wong that Alex's mom is my baby sister. Now, I initially felt that it was his mom's aunt, so it'd be his grand aunt, which kind of makes more sense given the separation of the generation, and to further establish, they never knew each other. You know, I do wonder sometimes, did she get into witchcraft at a young life, or did she get into witchcraft later in life when she became ill? It's an answer I don't need. The answers I have enough is that she walks around with her little tree plant, and those are the sticks she pulls from it to
it's a
grow.
finite amount she can use almost.
Yeah, and she uses it very sparingly, and she uses it to cover up things to prevent the police from getting to know things. But you know, she's still becoming ill, and you know, she's letting Alex feed her parents while she tries to bring life back into herself, you know, probably to stay young or something like that. And she forces Alex to take an object from each of the kids' class.
Very clever thing to do is just take all the name
That
things.
they probably drew themselves.
Yeah, because he was looking around at certain things that they all owned.
Yeah.
And I was like, in my head, I was like, you can't take every single, like one thing from every single person,
Yeah.
because that's first of all going to take ages, and second of all, they're all going to notice. And then when all of the names are on the boxes, I was like, oh, that's very clever.
It was quick and easy as well.
Not something that someone would notice.
No.
Because Julia Garner's character does go in to have a chat with Alex. She doesn't notice all the names are gone off the boxes.
But isn't it nice as well, after all we've seen of Julia Garner thus far, we are into this portion of the story where she's not yet involved of the plot.
This is all before,
and
before we've seen her.
It's like we know the path you're going on, and yet we're seeing you early in the development stages.
Yeah.
Like you've no idea what you're about to go through. And Alex comes home, and the whole setup where she is physically going through the setup of the spell with the bowl and tearing up pieces of their paper, like
It's like brewing a potion. Like
yeah,
it's
and she spits in it and she lights it on fire, and then she has a little bell.
yeah. the 217 bell.
And the fact that it just happened at 217,
It's so insignificant, really.
It
But
could have been at 215, it could have been at 219, doesn't matter. But the fact that whether the market didn't or we did make it a significant reason as to why, it's like, no, the significance of it is that it was insignificant. It just happened at this time.
yeah,
And the eerie
the shot through the doorway of all the kids running down the street is so great.
Yeah,
It's like,
just seeing them coming from the distance, and it's frightening to see this thing happen, like where Alex is just looking at all his classmates coming too. It's like he didn't know this was going to happen.
no one likes creepy kids, and nothing likes creepy things happening to kids.
No.
And this is both.
Yeah, and Alex looking up at his aunt, where she's just standing there holding her hands together like she's saying a prayer, and then she's looking down at Alex. Good boy, you did this. It's something you'd expect a witch to do in something like Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
And now we've more or less caught up.
And we're in the final conclusion now. With the main characters know something is going on in Alex's house.
Yeah.
We as an audience know the full context of how the powers work, how the spells work, and who's in this house and what's going on within it.
I felt the third act, this particular third act conclusion, was done at a great pace as well, because
I agree.
It's all action now. We don't
Yeah.
need any more answers, really. Like we know where the kids are, we know who the culprit is, we know who the victims are, and we have our heroes who need to save the day, and we have our obstacles they need to get through, who are unfortunately Paul and James. And like the weird, the scariness, the frightening image of seeing Paul raise his hand with no energy except his elbow, and he just waves someone to come to you. Come over here. Does that from the front door, tell them to come into the house. Does it again.
Did you see James in the corner of the room when they walked in?
The second time I did.
You did. I saw it the first time. I was like, I hate it. There's something about... There's lots of different ways you can do horror. One of them is you don't see anything until the moment that it happens. The prime example of that would be the clown on the roof in Julia Garner's dream sequence.
Yeah.
The next thing you can do is you show the thing from the beginning. You know it's there. You see it the entire time. And for me, that was when the mother walked out of the house and down to the car.
Yeah.
But also in this scene where I saw James in the corner, I'm like, I know he's there, and he's not moving, and he's just going to jump out at some point.
Because he's...
And I'm watching him the entire time.
He's perfectly blended into the background.
Yeah.
Because you're probably focusing on Josh Brolin and you're looking at Julia Garner. Look at...
You have to. They're in the foreground. He's in the background. It's
but-
like the camera is telling you, focus here, focus here. Yeah. Guess what? This was here the entire time.
Yeah.
What I really like about that sequence downstairs, the fact that they're so... Again, they're like these missiles. Target-seeking missiles, and they just don't stop. And the every time Josh Brolin punched James in the face, knocked him out, and he's back up again, and knocked him out, and he's back up again, threw him over the kitchen table. It felt like a Sam Raimi, like Evil Dead sequence.
I think that happened maybe 6 times.
It was 6 or 7 times. It was like it got to the point where
his hand was getting sore from knocking him out.
Yeah,
all that time.
There's a few moments in this towards the end that are really comedic moments. And that's one for me. It felt like Evil Dead, where like we're going to show you something scary, but you can laugh at it. Like, this is funny. And the screams that are coming out of James as he's attacking him.
But man,
and the contrast of that, of what's going on upstairs with when Alex crosses the line and the parents come for him, and then with Julia Garner, Justine and Paul in the kitchen, and him killing her. Killing her.
Strangling her. Oh, remember when she got the spud peeler
and started peeling off his face? That's like Evil Dead as well. That's like the newest one.
Paul can't catch a fucking break.
No,
he's always getting stabbed and cut with shit, even though he's under a trance here. But Jesus Christ, like, you're gonna grab anything in that situation. She's a short, small girl compared to Paul. He's gonna outtake her. You know, when these people are under the trance and they're nothing but raw rage and aggression, their eyes pop out of their fucking sockets very significantly. Now, Marcus Benedict Wong was a little different because he smashed his head against...
He'd also indented his own head. Yeah.
But I noticed this, I think, with James. I noticed it with Alex's mother. It felt like you have to... This is all down to the performer and their capability to make it look like their eyes pop out of your fucking sockets. And when Justine, she pled with him.
She didn't want to do it.
But when she raised the gun on frame into the screen, and you didn't want this to happen, and I didn't want this to happen, and this is after Benedict Wong died, and I kind of see this movie as so fulfilling and so satisfying that you could have come out on top with no victims, with no casualties, but when she shoots him in the throat, it was nothing. Like, he was gurgling.
He was still going to stand there until his body gave out.
Yeah, and so that's why she still had to blow his head off. And, like, we got to know Paul a little bit, and we know, like, as flawed as he was, as a dick as
he didn't deserve any of this.
No, he didn't. And like, she did feel bad, and she did have her moment to, like, look over his body, and she still saved Archer. She didn't know who the fuck James was, but we did. But he gets taken out almost instantaneously, and knocking him out would have done nothing. But, you know, after watching it a second time, if there's anything I would like to change, just one thing, and this would be a generous change, is somehow avoid having killing James. I think if there was someone who was under the spell and to survive and to maybe go forth in discussing the aftermath, I think a junkie would be a great choice to talk about what they experienced, what's true, what's not, because he's a junkie. I think if anyone could have survived, or I would have liked to have seen not be killed, it would have been James. How you do that, I don't know. Knock him out to a point where he is properly knocked out, smash a TV over his face, but he does survive, break his arms and legs, or I don't know, but I would have...
Yeah, that would have been interesting, break his arms and legs, but his body is still trying to move.
But he would have survived, and I think at the end of this movie, I would have liked to see at least one other person survived.
Yeah.
But I like how immediately, you know, this is very significant with Josh Brolin. His one goal was to find his son.
Yeah.
And he goes down immediately to the basement because he sees this is where all the kids are. Now, Julia Garner, she's upstairs in the kitchen, and Alex is going through his own little traumatic event. And this is what I go back to when something that your A-class, A-star, action man hero goes through, and the fucking hag lady is lurking in the basement, and she steals like a chain from his neck, and then she put him under a trance. And now he didn't do like the heat-seeking missile run after Justine. He just walked into the kitchen like Frankenstein, and he just choked her out. And this is where Alex, his heroism comes into play, and he takes her wig and he takes a strand of the hag's hair, and he puts it around a stick from the tree.
He's seen the spell be done a few times now.
Monkey see, monkey do. This is how Aunt Gladys did it. Maybe this is how it'll work for me. And then snaps the twig. And I like how she didn't see it happen, but like
it's like she felt it. Yeah,
she knew. Like she was in the know, and her reaction was like, "Oh no!" She's done this so many times. She knows what's about to happen.
She knows there's no way to stop it until it's either it's completed, or
there is no war.
It's either the task is completed or the person has to carry out the task has died. There is no in between, and so then we get essentially a Ferris Bueller like sequence running through all of the different houses and gardens and stuff like that.
I really, this is one of the reasons why I took my time to review. I don't recall ever seeing something like this ever. How it's executed, even how it's shot, because there's multiple ways. Like, and God love the performer who did it, where she runs away all wacky, like oh God, hands in the air waving, not able to run too far away, but the
stampede almost,
the stampede of all the kids charging up after her, running after her to do one thing, to kill her. And she knows that's coming for her.
It's kind of like a little reward, I suppose, because it is quite a comedic sequence, and after all of this horror and all of this action, all this of the scares, it's like a sigh of relief for us as an audience. Like, okay, sit back, know that she's going to get her comeuppance, have a laugh, have a bit of
this overly drawn out chase where she goes from the garden to the house, and she runs through the family kitchen, and they're going, what? You whip pan back to where she first entered, and all the kids run through the fucking windows and smashes through the glass and charges through the door. And then she goes, I can't remember what else she goes through, but she goes through like a back garden, she goes through another house, and this time we're seeing one of the kids' perspectives, fucking barge through the door again, and You see your man cutting the lawn, and he looks over between one house and the other, and the other lady runs past it, and then the stampede of kids chasing after, and just like one little kid is just lingering a little behind. And then this is what I mean when Gladys, the hag, has to run through the front door to escape, whereas the kid can just run through the window and catch up. Those 2 seconds make all the difference, and they catch her down, and then she looks out and she's the stampede of kids run through the glass.
She's torn asunder, torn apart completely.
Yeah, think when we got to the kid's hands ripping her jaw open, that's rewarding, wasn't it?
It's rewarding that it's the kids that get to do it as well.
Because
they're the ones that have
they were the most victims of them all. But I liked how, like, after that, Josh Brolin comes out of the trance and he's like, what the fuck? Just drops Justine and he walks back out.
Yeah.
Like I said, this might make him come across as a bit of an arsehole from someone else's perspective, just a dick with his own self-gain. But I love how true-natured he was to it, where his focus and his goal was to get his son back.
Yeah.
And while Justine gets the more honourable revelation, the more honourable conclusion, where she goes upstairs to find Alex, where he's hugging his parents, and like, they're not going to be the same as they were.
No.
This is
it's like almost however long you're in the trance
is
how long it takes you to get back out, because like Josh Brolin is only in it for no more than 2-3 minutes,
and he comes out of it fine. James could have come out of it not a bother, but it doesn't matter. They're out of the trance. Alex's parents are out of the trance, and
they've been in it for at least a month.
Yeah.
And the kids have been in it for a month as well.
Yeah, but that's how they're still in static, and in the narrative that his parents are somewhere else where someone else is feeding them soup, but at least they're alive. They're not dead.
Yeah.
And what I like about this is that Josh Brolin goes through the disaster and the mess that the kids made, and he finds them all there, standing there in the garden, just still and static. Now, what I thought was going to be is Josh Brolin was going to come out to the garden, and he was going to find all the kids back to their normal selves, and they're all shocked, and they're all like, they're all bawling, crying, looking at
What
this,
do we do? Yeah.
and then all covered in blood. And I thought this hard, grizzled old man who was not really able to convey his emotions was going to be the consoler of all these kids, and the savior of all these kids, and that all the kids were going to gather around him, and he was going to walk them down the street and walk them to safety, away from this mess, away from this graphic image. And I thought that would have been so interesting to see someone like him do that. But no, it stuck to his true nature, and that was to get Matthew. And he
picks up Matthew up and walks away. Like, he leaves all the other kids there. Like, someone else will figure this out.
Yeah.
Someone else will sort it out for them.
And I kind of like that, because that was his ultimate goal in the end.
And he is selfish in a way to do that, like,
Yeah.
not to look after all these kids, but like, I think if you took any of the other parents and put them in the same situation, they would have also done that.
Maybe, yeah. But like, realistically, there are witnesses all over the place. They would have found the kids, and the cops would have been there in no time.
Yeah.
But I liked how Josh Brolin in the end was the avatar of the parent to find these kids. And I like how Julia Garner, she sees that Alex found his parents again and he had them back, and Justine was just watching him there, and that was the end of the movie. Satisfying.
Yeah, I like that the movie, it's all fully contained. It's not like Josh Brolin walks away with Matthew and then we get a cut to black and then a month later and we're back at school or anything like that, and we're seeing the aftermath of it all. Like, the movie very much opens and closes with the events. Like, we get the prologue of the kid talking and we get the epilogue of the kid telling you what happened afterwards, but we don't see it. We only just see exactly this story, and I'm perfectly happy to see just this, the important things.
That's all I have to say about it.
Have you got a recommendation before we let these people go then?
Yeah. I'm gonna wanna recommend sure, I'll probably recommend what you're thinking of maybe recommending, Alien Earth.
No, I've not seen it.
Well, I haven't seen it either, but I know I'm going to watch it, and I'm hearing it's good, and I know I like it, so I'm going to recommend it anyway. I think it's good. It's an interesting... if I don't recommend Alien Earth, then I don't have a recommendation, so
Fair
I'm
enough.
going to stick with that.
I'll recommend Barbarian, which is the movie we talked about a little bit earlier, Zach Krieger's first film. Again, I can't recommend it enough to not look up anything about it. Just go in and watch it.
Which do you like more?
I
like Weapons more.
Yeah, I think so. I really do like Barbarian, but I think Weapons as a whole, the narrative structure in it works better for me. Even though I do like the narrative structure of Barbarian.
I think the weapons is more of a wide net to tick all the boxes I need for what makes me like a movie more.
I think so. I think I agree.
And hey, looking forward to him directing Resident Evil.
It'll be interesting to see him take on a known franchise, but it seems that he's putting his own spin on it, where it's not going to follow any of the games or anything like that. It's his own.
No, it's very
narrative.
much his own story. Like, so I'd be curious to know how much of the Resident Evil lore he's going to implement in terms of the context or the situation.
Yeah,
you know, because hey, the last Resident Evil movie where we did have the game characters was shit. So
I'll be honest with you, I think I've seen the first Resident Evil. I watched it maybe at Christmas one time and was like half asleep. So
no Resident Evil movie with the lore characters, the game characters, has ever been really that good. So maybe one without will be good. Here he wrote a script for a DC movie called Henchman, where the henchman, through some sheer luck, takes out Batman, and he actually is on the rise now, and the Joker and Harley Quinn have supporting roles in. I could see
an interesting concept, all right. Yeah,
it's an interesting concept. But says he has the script written. He also has a sci-fi script he wants to write. But I don't know. Maybe I could see James going to greenlit that down the line sometime. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
It could be an off-the-cuff film in the DC, but we'll see.
Brian, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Talking Pictures Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you subscribe to us on your favourite podcasting app of choice to never miss an episode. We have new episodes every single Wednesday, as well as bonus episodes every other weekend, so make sure that you're subscribed on your favourite podcasting app of choice to never miss an episode. If you can, leave us a little review. We'd really appreciate it. It costs you nothing, gives us everything, helps people find the show, stuff like that. This podcast is brought to you by Another Happy Studios, so make sure to check out the other podcasts in our network. You can also visit anotherhappystudios.com to find us there and see the other podcasts in our network as well. Brian, any final words before we let these people go?
Nope.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, David.